This is Jed MacKay, and you're listening to Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast.
Yes, welcome back, loony listeners. You are listening to Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast. This is episode 276, and it is live streamed as well at the moment. You are with both your high priests of Khonshu. Rebecca, hello.
Hi again. Haven't seen you in ages.
Hello. Oh my gosh, there's so much to catch up on. and I am the other Ray, and welcome to another episode. This time away from the TV screen, more into the comic books. So
back to the beginning, back to the origins of all our Moon Knight fandom.
Exactly, back to the meat and bones of it all.
Yep.
So we'll be looking at the Moonshine. It will be us, Rebecca and I, looking at a comic book, Moon Knight, Volume 9, Issue 10, by that fantastic team, Jed MacKay, Alessandro, Cappuccio, and Rachelle Rosenberg. But before any of that, of course, a big thank you to all our patronies. A huge thank you to one and all for helping us, reach the heights that we strive for, as well as our other top-tier patronies who are major sponsors, Drew Toombs, Daniel Doing, and Frank the Tank Dukes, as well as CLZ Comics and Dreamland Comics from Schoenberg, Illinois. Rebecca, it's kind of weird. It was weird because, I don't know, being in such a deep rabbit hole of being invested in the TV show, it was kind of weird to go back to the comics, if that makes sense.
It was. It took me like a moment to just switch back into comics mode, and then I was just like, "Oh yeah, I love that." I remember when we left off. It was just like it was. I think it's possibly the one of the luckiest places for the comics to have broken off with the TV show capturing all our attention, because it was a very clear cliffhanger last time, and so coming back to it, it was like, oh, I don't have to, I know the characterization, I just need to get back into this story now. So I mean, it took a moment to even open a comic, kind of, because everything's just been up in the air, and we've been crazy, like sharing Moon Knight merchandise and Moon Knight new podcasts and Moon Knight this and Moon Knight that, and then to suddenly go, oh yeah, comic. It's almost like a relaxation, and it's not obviously loving the show, but like just this kind of gentle sigh of, I know where I am.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's kind of like we can kind of take a seat and take a little breather, because I don't know, not that it's been hectic or anything, but it just seems, because of the excitement, fast paced with the TV show and all this talk that we're doing. I mean, we are keeping ourselves busy, and we're generating that ourselves.
You're doing the weekend podcast as well. So like, it's a lot of Moon Knight.
Yeah,
not complaining ever. Please don't. But it's a lot of Moon Knight. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we've got a user here. Unfortunately, you don't know who. It's their first time. Hello, user.
First time watching it live. Hi.
Watching it live. Yes. Message fan and listen at the gym. I hope you're pushing that 10. I hope you're doing the squats. Come on. I when I
you
went
can
to
do
the gym,
it. Keep it up. We got faith.
Absolutely, but listening to podcasts while at the gym is fantastic.
Yeah, I listen when I go jogging. That's when I start. I mean, I haven't jogged through the winter, but I'm about to start again. And I found, like, everyone's like, "Oh, listen to music," and I'm like, "No, I'm so behind on podcasts. I just love it. I love sort of having someone keep me company while I'm there."
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we have plenty to talk about here as well. As mentioned, our Moonshine segment. So shall we get into it, Rebecca?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. So, as mentioned, this is a Moon Knight Volume 9, Issue 10. It's titled Session, and it was released April 6th, 2022. Writer Jed MacKay, penciler inker Alessandro Cappuccio, colorist Rachelle Rosenberg with letter of VC's Cory Petit, and editor Tom Brevoort. Pretty consistent team, I guess, Rebecca.
Yeah, we've been very lucky with
Actually,
consistency.
yeah, true. I mean, we're up to issue 10, so it's been pretty good. We've had the one, and that was fine with Sabatini at issue 7. So
Yeah, I mean, I think it was but even then, just having one, but it was like a really good one to if you're going to have a stand-in to have a stand-in for.
yeah,
So
it suited, and Sabatini went on to do Devil's Reign as well. So again, a lot of consistency too. Hello, Russell. How are you? So anyway, so listeners,
Russell has to decide which podcast he logs
yes,
in.
exactly.
It's a bit like you know,
Yeah,
Mark or Stephen. We
yeah,
get
Russell has to choose which one he is. And for listeners who are listening to the podcast, not necessarily looking at the live stream, yes, we are having live comments as we podcast. Hence, you know, you might be wondering what the hell is Ray or Rebecca talking about? Responding to some comments. Yes,
responding to comments. Yeah. So sorry if it doesn't make a lot of sense, but just think of it as like added
exactly.
decoration.
Little accoutrement. I heard Chris use that in TV podcast industries. I'm going to use that too. So cover anyway by Cory Smith and Rachelle Rosenberg as well, with variants by Junggeon Yoon and Stephen Segovia with Romulo Farjardo Jr. So I just want to put that up now, Rebecca, so we can all see. These are the variants. So
the
this
variants.
is So this is the Segovia one and the Farjardo one, Farjardo Jr., which is pretty cool, and that's a Junggeon Yoon.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
lovely.
I'm a big fan of their work, especially on Spider Woman covers. I mean, yeah,
Right.
So
they do some beautiful covers. The main cover's a bit weird because it's.
Oh yeah, let me. Yes,
it's all right.
I should get the main cover up, shouldn't I? Let me just bear with me just a second here. There we go. I'll raise a bit slow on the.
It's got, I assume, Winner with his gun pointed at
actually,
Midnight, and
yeah.
then Cameo. Our new. He said it. He came as I said Cameo. That's my cat. Everyone, sorry,
a little
who's not
scarab.
watching. Yeah, on Waxman attacking him. It's quite interesting because it is both fights, one from above, one from below. So it kind of works as a cover, but because I was gonna say, it's not really like showing what happened, but it actually kind of is. It's just it happens over 2 fights.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, good pick up with the Winner. Yeah, for a long time I was wondering who that person is with the gun, because there isn't like a machine gun or whatever that is, a sniper rifle in the issue, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure Winner has one, but like I assume that's who it was meant to be. So.
Thank you, Russell. I don't know how to discern between my waking life and dreams.
I'm very happy the Australian did that.
Anyway, I had to give it a go. My gosh, it's and our mystery guest as well. Hello, Looney. The horror vibe. Yep. It's pretty interesting. The covers are pretty cool. Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, this is available on floppy format and on digital as well. And as mentioned, the variants which you saw as well. So what we do typically, Rebecca has the opportunity to read the bare bones, which is a synopsis, a summary of the issue, just in case you want a bit of a recap yourself as you listen on. And then we'll go into some key moments which we thought, kind of stood out for the story, and we'll sprinkle that with some comments on writing and art, themes, references, that sort of stuff. And we'll cap it off with a moon rating, lovingly described and created by Konishu. So, So, Rebecca, if you would be so kind, you've improved it for yourself, which is good. Which you have.
I went in so I wouldn't be stumbling over it as much this time. I just made it a bit more my style than Ray's, but Ray did all the work. I just
don't be
did
silly,
some
Rebecca.
tweaks, so. No, it's true. So here we go. Bare bones. In a first, it's Moon Knight, not Mr. Knight, who sits down with Dr. Sterman for a therapy session. That's the title of the comic. Moon Knight recounts his recent confrontation with the escaped Rutherford Winner, who visited the Midnight Mission, gun in hand. Recalling the event to Dr. Sterman, Moon Knight tells how Winner said he wanted to reclaim his doctor, Dr. Sterman. Moon Knight and Winner fight it out, Moon Knight unwilling to relinquish the good doctor to such a dangerous man. Back to the therapy session, Dr. Sterman is adamant that Winner is a lost cause, a wild dog that can't be saved, but only contained. Sterman goes on to assess Moon Knight, and she talks about the parallels and differences between him and Winner. Though both have had trauma inflicted on them by others, Hydra for Winner, Khonshu for Spectre, Sterman sees Moon Knight as being his own saboteur when it comes to reaching his potential. She questions his allegiance to Khonshu and ponders whether Moon Knight should unshackle himself from his overbearing guilt. Moon Knight in turn questions Dr. Sterman, but remains focused and intent on telling his whole story. Turns out that Winner, like Spectre, just wants to get better. Sterman's insistence that Winner can't be saved helped Moon Knight call her out on her deception. To Sterman's surprise, Moon Knight threatens her, tells her to reveal her true self, and after calling out his name, the Waxman reveals himself. He took Dr. Sterman's place at the behest of Zodiac, who told him to break Moon Knight. Waxman decides it's all a waste, and he and Moon Knight start to fight. With the help of some liquid nitrogen, Waxman's contained and ultimately constrained within a seamless steel sphere created by the living Midnight Mission. Under the threat of being encased in concrete, Waxman gives up Dr. Sterman's whereabouts. However, Moon Knight pulls the concrete in anyway, much to the surprise of his congregation, Tigra, Soldier, and Winner. Without Reese there to influence him, Moon Knight sets off to find Zodiac, promising there will be blood.
Oh my gosh, a shift here again with, I guess, the outlook that Moon Knight has. But yeah, thank you, Rebecca, for that bare bones overall impressions. Rebecca, what did you make of this story?
I really liked it. I think for a story that had two separate fights in, it was remarkably well told, and it didn't feel like one or other of them got too much of a short shrift. And plus, we got the Dr. Sterman reveal, which we were kind of expecting, I think, from previous issues, or since she was captured by Zodiac and then came back. But I like the detail that was paid to some bits while other bits are still left open, and I just really liked it. I you know, like, you feel like you're coming to the end of an arc, and we know we are. Like, we know issue 12 is like a stopping point.
Yep.
So this feels like we are building up to this big, resolution of the Zodiac storyline.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with you. I enjoyed it. There is a familiarity, I think, with it now. I was thinking about it earlier today, and I think for some readers, such as myself, locking into this style of Jed MacKay, it's very smart, it's very solid, it's very tight. His writing, I mean, it's still ably manages to surprise. I mean, there is a big twist here as well, but it's just really nice, good writing, and trying to weave everything together. Like there's a thing about the murders of the women being strangled. I mean, that has been dropped before, so it's kind of coming around now, and it's been revealed as what's happened there. As you mentioned, with Sterman disappearing, yet she's here at the beginning of the issue, seemingly, that sort of stuff. So yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I think MacKay's just a hell of a solid, really good, enjoyable writer. It's I just can't fault him really at the moment, and the art's just great as well. So
yeah, I mean, like, we've really taken to the art, so as people know, and the coloring elevates it. Like, even that first page where you get to see Mr. Knight looking a bit, gloomy, but with the light behind him and the lighting, it's really nice.
Oh yeah, that lighting effect is, I mean, and it's used actually to good effect a lot here, because I guess a lot of the scenes are within the therapy room. So there's a lot of this dim lighting, but there's also other fantastic stuff as well. If I can just jump straight to it, I'm not too sure if I can do that with here. So
beautiful.
It's that in tandem with the coloring as well. The shifts of color.
It wouldn't be quite it wouldn't take your breath away as much without the coloring.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, what key aspect would you like to begin with then, Rebecca?
Mm, mm, I guess. Well, let's take them in order. Why
Mhm.
not? Let's
Okay.
take them in order. Rutherford Winner.
Yes.
So we discussed him briefly last time. You would need to go back to Daughter of the Dragon that Jed wrote for to get his origin as such.
Mhm.
But he was this Hydra, you know, molded. I think it's quite sweet that he just wants his therapist back.
Yeah, which is funny. I mean, like storming a midnight mission, seeking out Moon Knight with gun in hand. All he wants to do is get Dr.
He just wants
Sterman.
to get better, which is,
Yeah.
which it's the kind of crazy thing Mark would do.
Yeah.
So, appreciate it. It's kind of like this is someone without. I mean, there are a lot of parallels.
Yeah.
I don't know about similarities because there's a big difference when a god's on your side,
Yeah.
and yet like, when you've been having to sort of move in superhero circles versus when you've been brought through as the bad guy. Um, but like I said, even in that Daughter of the Dragon, Winner comes round and ends up, joining the good side.
Mhm.
So I guess, a show that he's kind of getting better. Maybe not that he'd go and like break out, fight someone, whatever, but that he just has this desperate need to get better, which we know that Mark has had for a long time. But now he seems to have the DID under control. He's trying to tackle what Khonshu's done
Yeah.
post aid Khonshu. So
I, I
you know,
guess I guess the only fault that he would have is the way he goes about it. But maybe that's the way he's wired, which MacKay mentions, or Dr.
yeah,
Sterman mentions about what's happened to poor Rutherford Winner. But storming in to someone's place with a gun in hand, demanding, uh, of course, we won't have such a great story, but it could have been done in a different way.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah.
I mean, that said, Mark doesn't seem to take offense that he did that. I mean, he
No,
does. He goes, "You came in my house with a gun, blah blah." But like, once he's kicked him about a bit, he doesn't seem to. He's like, "Okay, you're on my
I,
team now." I
I
mean, he's
yeah,
literally adopting waifs and strays left,
yeah.
right, and center.
I
So,
mean, and I think he touched upon that in an earlier issue about about these damaged or people, these
mhm.
damaged or seemingly evil people. He just wants to help them. He's drawn to them as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's the same as with Soldier. Soldier
Yes.
came for
Yep.
him as well, and he
Yep.
just adopts him. I
Yep.
mean, not really adopts him, but you all know what I mean by that. He's just like, you're one of my people now. I'm
Hmm.
gonna help you. And it's just like since losing his normal group, we've now got this other group, and they're all a little bit established now, and
Yeah.
Rutherford's been in a couple of other comics, so he's a little bit established as well. So it's kind of nice, and the mission's his people as well, let's not forget.
Hmm. It kind of surprised me, pleasantly, I guess, that we see Rutherford Winner at the end, as you say, that he's
Yeah,
become
yeah,
part of this congregation. But it makes sense because, as you say, all he really wanted to do was find his doctor, and all he wanted to do, and this was the big reveal for Moon Knight to Dr. Sterman, was that he wants to just get better, Um,
mhm,
and I think, I guess this will lead into, say, the other aspect that I'll go down the line here as well,
yeah,
about Moon Knight being in session. I think this was a great little foil by Jed MacKay.
yeah,
It was something different that you immediately notice. It's like, oh, hey, for 9 issues, we've had Mr. Knight. We've got Moon Knight here now. This is
yeah.
different.
That you immediately notice. Yeah,
Mm, but
page one.
but then by the end of it, it makes absolute sense. Moon Knight
Yeah,
knows going into that session already that it's not
yeah.
Dr. Sterman, but he's just playing Waxman
And that's the
from the
thing
beginning.
as well. It's like once he knows it's not Dr. Sterman and
Mm.
he knows Rutherford wants to find Dr. Sterman, they're both on the same side naturally.
Yes.
So it's natural that they join forces. There's no
Mhm.
awkwardness. It's like they now both want to go save this therapist who's actually been helping them.
Mm. Yes.
So, good for her. 2 for 2.
Yeah, no, I mean, as Moon Knight says,
She has some very loyal psychos following her.
well, I just hope she's not hurt or anything. I mean, it does seem very kind of scary considering Zodiac kind of took her.
I mean, we have 2 more
Mm.
issues, and I don't think I'd put a bet on her
Oh.
surviving.
Oh, no.
But I'm
I
not
hope
saying
so.
she won't. I'm just saying I wouldn't personally. But I, you know what I mean? Like, I think Jed's bucked enough trends that there's a good chance she does. I just wouldn't put money on it.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, but yeah, so you know, again, like many of the other issues, we have the issue bouncing between action and actual therapy sessions. But this one unraveled, I think, pretty well, Rebecca. I mean, apart from
Mhm.
the big twist that comes up, it does. I mean, Waxman's a pretty good therapist. You know,
I mean, I don't know if I'd say that.
no,
He's going along some of the sort of standard tropey paths.
yeah,
But when he starts sort of saying like, "Have you not thought about unshackling yourself?" or like, or dissing Rutherford so much, it's clear that he's not.
yeah, and I think
You
that's
know, in the same way as we
yeah,
were picking up on her being a little bit abrasive about
yes,
Reese and Tigra.
yeah, yes,
Or Reese, was it Reese? Whoever she was
uh,
being aggressive. No, it doesn't matter.
yeah, but
But
no,
like, you know, what we've picked up before about the therapy not being a bit, she seems to have changed her tack. Well, clearly she did,
hmm
because
hmm
Waxman is not a good therapist.
yeah, and it's
There's a
great.
reason his name is Waxman, and it's not because he's
Yeah,
a
exactly.
therapist.
Yeah. Yeah, and we see him in all his glory with Cappuccio as well. But yeah, I mean, that's a good point as well, Rebecca. I mean, it does stem even prior to this issue of the way Sterman is shown. But I think in this
Mhm.
particular issue, I mean, one of my notes was just the brilliance of MacKay, like, because at the beginning of the issue, it does seemingly look like a therapy session, but there were just these little things that unravel in what Sterman says about her being a little bit more you know, trying to coax Moon Knight down a particular path rather than just, you know, just listening and being the therapist that she has been. You, for me anyway, at least, I mean, you just start to wonder, okay, there is something a bit off by her, and so
Yeah.
yeah.
It's good enough, but there's something slightly abrasive there, or you can see that she's starting to push him in directions.
Yeah, and one of the things, I mean, you touched upon there, Rebecca, is about this this guilt, or what do you call it? The red ledger, say that Mark
Yeah,
has is
yeah. I mean,
massive, and so Sterman or Waxman says, is that really holding you back? I mean, do you really need to be hung up on this so much by what you've
but you
done?
see, that's the thing, is
Yeah.
I'm not sure how hung up on it he's been in
Mm.
previous sessions. So that seems more like that was one to me that it was like it was kind of a bit of a
Oh,
push.
okay, okay, yeah,
Because she's not referring back to the stuff about, like, really, I mean, she mentions about what Khonshu did to you, but she doesn't really sort of go into some of the conversations they've been having.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And like immediately, like when the minute she says Zodiac says you could be you know, the minute she starts agreeing with Zodiac, then you're like, okay.
Yeah. There's something
Yeah.
absolutely totally wrong. I just kept on thinking of whenever the thing about Mark's guilt comes up. I don't know,
Mm,
for some reason, just default, I always seem to go back to that boat ride that Mark has with the Truth in the Bemis run, and he talks
yeah,
about it, and so I don't know, maybe that's testament to Bemis's writing, but it's very, I always remember that and how much
yeah.
it has affected him, like you know, what he's done in the
I
past.
mean, no,
So,
there is an issue in this run as well when he does discuss like being his feelings about violence and guilt and stuff like that.
mhm,
Um, but I don't know. I just like this was. I mean, apart from the page where they're discussing it being absolutely gorgeous
mhm,
because it's the Rutherford Winner fight
yeah,
is going on behind this. But yeah, it all just started being like that's when it all starts falling apart and
yeah.
unraveling, and that's when she's being the least Dr. Sterman. Whether what she's saying is true or not, it's not what Dr. Sterman has said to him before.
I mean, and also as well, admittedly, when how she or Waxman talks of Winner is a
Yeah.
little bit off-putting as well. Like she's really just given
Yeah,
up
I
on
mean,
him.
like you'll be
It's,
like, oh, I hope my doctor doesn't speak about me like that.
yeah, exactly. And you know, as a wild dog, he can't be. What's it? He can't be.
I like the wild dog thing after,
Yeah,
you know, that's what he described himself as in
himself as a
Devil's
wild dog.
Reign.
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, so there's a lot of this talk. I guess diving into um I guess what potential insecurities Moon Knight has, and Sterman or Waxman obviously trying to manipulate that. I think that really did play out really well. If anything, in between that, the fight. I mean, the fights were great with Rutherford Winner as well, but and I know the fight scenes aren't the focus of
Yeah.
this issue, but I don't know. It would have been cool to see a little bit more, a little bit more action rather than. There is one particular move I really liked. It was when Moon Knight grabs Winner's arm and bends it backwards. I just love that choreography, rather than just
Yeah, it's
just
great.
punching. But yeah, I'll see you some.
He's off.
Trying to
It just
make a
it
statement too.
feels very physical fight, which I like.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
There's a great physicality to it, and you say it doesn't last that long, but it lasts longer than some comic fights we have.
Yeah, true.
Just some of it we have. Some of it is in the background to the discussion with Dr. Sterman.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's.
But I mean, it's like it runs across quite a few pages if you look at it.
Yeah, true. I guess it's just the content within the type of
Yeah,
fighting
no,
described.
I understand it.
Yeah.
It's like we haven't had a lot of really long fights either.
Yeah.
Which
I mean, this is beautiful. This art, this splash
is
page here.
gorgeous. I'm
So
just looking at that one. Yeah.
I know, as I said, a lot of artists do it more often. I know Elena Casagrande does it in Black Widow, where you get the multiple figures of your protagonist going through the page, so you get that flow, which is really nice.
Yeah,
they do it in the
yeah.
Spider-Woman as well, and again, Alessandro does it superbly here too. So, so
Yeah.
there are really good shots to kind of look at as well. But yeah, it's pretty good. So yeah, I mean, we get also. I mean, I've got here Sterman questions Moon Knight's allegiance and obligation to Khonshu. I mean, that's a thing as well. Trying to steer. I mean, that was a signpost for me because it harked back to Zodiac saying, "Look, I have very little respect for what his faith is, or towards Khonshu." And this is clearly Sterman trying to push a wedge between Moon Knight and Khonshu, albeit that Moon Knight is not like a devout follower. He's still an apostate, as MacKay says. But yeah, she's trying to drive a wedge, I think, between them, or Waxman is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we find out later.
Doesn't turn out too well.
No, I mean, and we find out as well. I mean, Zodiac always just wants to play with Moon Knight. We find out that Waxman says, "I'll stop this. I just want to kill him." So the intent wasn't to kill him, but to really just like mess with him. And to break him. I mean, that was the whole thing, right? So I guess that's what Waxman was trying to do at the beginning with that. But Moon Knight's savvy to it all, and it calls him out. So
yeah, we find out that it was Waxman who killed the other women.
Yes, as well. And look, again, another great page here. Good use of light. So this is that splash page. I've got it as page 16. Just a nice use of lighting and shadow as well. Looks very monstrous. I think it's really cool. I want to call out as well that Waxman, I've only seen him once, and he's been in the 1970s comic of Spider-Woman, Volume 1.
Right.
I tracked it down.
I'd never seen him before. I knew of him, but...
It's a really good issue. It was, I think it was written by Mark Grunwald as well, but created by Mark Grunwald, John Wilburn, and Carmine Infantino. Issue 17, it was a one and done. It was Spider-Woman versus Waxman, and it had a very big horror vibe as well. I mean,
I know he joined the night shift just because.
Okay, yeah.
I was talking with people about the night shift recently.
Which is
it was really strange. A friend on a comic Discord I'm on was saying, oh, we've got issue 10 coming up, we're gonna do the podcast, and he was like, have the night shift showed up in in Moon Knight, because then I'll read it. And I was like, well, not so far. Then I was like, you might want to read some Moon Knight. So
yes,
after this week. So it was just really weird because I was just like, you must have manifested it. Like, it's so weird.
Yeah, I mean, Night Shift, for those that know, was a big creation of Mark Grunwald as well. He used Night Shift frequently he used them in Captain America. They popped up in the West Coast Avengers as well, I think under Steve Englehart.
But Waxman wasn't always in the team, in my defense.
No, he
because
wasn't.
I have read
You're
Captain America and stuff. So. But yeah,
Yeah. I've
so
only
he was
I've only seen him in that Spider Woman, but I didn't know about him being in Night Shift. So
yeah.
yeah, but it
So
makes
I think
sense,
from what I read, he joined and left. Like he
right?
wasn't in it for long. So, but it's just a weird
Yeah,
thing that happened to me. So.
and he's got a very strange ability. You see it. He's literally a shapeshifter. He's kind of made out of a waxy substance. Uh,
Hmm.
the scientist, the guy he was, had a skin um disease or something, and he tried to cure it, and he turned into a wax man and literally could mold himself into anything. But yeah, yeah, very cool character. I don't know much about his personality, but
Yeah, I don't know anything about him.
he seems to be pretty dumb. So,
Hmm.
uh, yeah. Any other particular points from maybe the writing point of view then, Rebecca?
It just worked very well for me. It flowed very well. The move from the therapy to the fight, the characterization, I'm sure we'll get into.
Hmm.
Like I liked him calling back to these things we've been talking about, like what we find out about this, like why Dr. Sterman's being weird, about the missing women.
Hmm.
So all these like and yeah, it just worked for me very well, the writing. So
Hmm. Hmm. I think I mean, just further on to my other point about the action, and again, it's only a small like quibble. I think also it's because of, Rutherford Winner was teased a couple of times in the upcoming
mhm.
issues. So for me, it seemed like, or there was an expectation potentially that there would be a big kind of showdown. So I guess that's why when they did end up fighting, which was good anyway, but um, maybe it just wasn't set as I thought it would be. But again, it is hard to do because I understand McKay's only got a certain amount of pages. It's not the real focus of the story, as I said. So there's all that. But I guess because he'd been teased for so long, at least for the 2 issues prior,
Mhm.
I was expecting a bigger kind of confrontation. But we get a really good confrontation here with Waxman. I like,
Yeah, yeah. I think that more than makes up for it is
yeah,
that like, you have one that becomes a friend and one that does not become a friend.
and I love it. It's deceptively simple. It's the canisters of liquid nitrogen, because he's
Yep.
waxy. So what do you do with him? You freeze him.
Freeze him. Yep.
Apparently as well. Yeah, he's vulnerable. He's invulnerable to most things, but extreme temperature as well. So I guess if you go
Yeah, which makes sense,
really high,
obviously.
yeah, and so
Yep.
he really freezes him. Moon Knight. He's starting to. I mean, here it's not. I guess it's not so bad in the sense that Waxman is not really human in a sense. Like he doesn't have to eat or breathe. He says later on as well. But we start to.
No, but he was a
He
human. I
was a
mean, he is
human,
human,
yeah.
but
But
like, yeah, but you're right. He doesn't have he doesn't need that to eat and drink.
no, but I guess the point I'm working towards is that we're starting to see Moon Knight. He's kind of returning to his more violent streak. Like he's relishing this sort of stuff.
I mean, it's hard to tell because this is one issue where things are obviously coming to a head.
Mm,
So, like, I mean, like, he has to deal with Waxman, Dr. Sterman's situation somehow.
yeah.
Like, like, because on the one hand, he's fighting Rutherford, and that doesn't end in violence.
Hmm.
It doesn't end in extreme violence. I mean, obviously, the violence of a fight.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, you see this. But then I think, like, I said in the notes, and somebody else raised it. It's like, in between, we've had Devil's Reign, which is where we've literally seen him
That's
go
yes.
like uh so like the issue before, I mean, I know we didn't get these in the right order,
Mm.
but the issue before Devil's Reign, you saw him restrained from being violent
Yeah.
with the new Midnight Mission house.
Hmm.
And we remarked on that. In Devil's Reign, we saw him kind of let loose with the violence. And this is kind of like this weird, not weird, this balance of the two.
Mm.
He has one where his rationality is like, oh no, Rutherford is after, just wants to be better. That's fine. Let's not like kill him brutally. And he can be one of my pals. And then Waxman, there's nothing that can help. Like this is too much now. You've come for me in my home, attacked my therapist,
Yeah.
and you go in the steel sphere.
Yeah, I guess the big difference is, I mean, looking back at the previous people that came after Moon Knight through Zodiac, I mean, Moon Knight really does show no mercy. I mean, with with the new mission, well, he just calls it the mission or mission, the house. Yeah, there was that restraint, and it was interesting because he didn't resort to violence at all, although he did bring the bag full of bombs.
Yeah,
He
I
managed
mean,
to
look,
talk
he was
through it.
ready for violence.
Mm,
He just was using it as a threat.
yeah.
Whereas this is much more, no, I'm breaking. We're gonna do
Yeah,
this.
I guess it's almost like he's unrestrained when he goes up against someone that he knows is on Zodiac's side. I mean, with Hawley, the janitor, he left him a mindless, gibbering mess on the floor.
Yeah, that's true.
With Rampage as well, I think he can't really
I
remember.
mean,
Can't remember
8
totally.
Ball, he didn't. 8 Ball, he just ended up cellmates with, you know.
Yeah, well, 8 Ball was he? He wasn't under the employ of Zodiac. He was just like a low level
No,
crony.
that's true. Actually, he was an informant. He
Yeah.
informed on them.
But all the others, he really did really mess up. So, there's something there to show about, I guess, his anger towards Zodiac. He really does. You've got to fight fire with fire, perhaps. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think he is a violent character,
Mhm.
and I mean, I don't think any of us imagined he'd go up against Zodiac without some of the sort of face ripping violence.
Yes.
So, like, I mean, I think that will always be a side of him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this was funny. So, like, because originally I was like, oh, is he still in the mission?
Yeah.
Is the mission made that steel sphere? And it's like, no, he's gone to the foundations of a new condo building.
Yeah. Yeah, he has.
And welded the sphere down. I mean, it is quite a good bit of, handiwork there.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it's handy.
So it's a good sphere. It's not easy to make a sphere.
Handy with a tool. I'm sure it's. Yeah, it would have.
I mean, maybe they had spheres there for some reason, but it's not easy to make a sphere.
No, and to get Waxman in there as well. I mean, that would take a lot of work. Well, I guess he's frozen. You just break bits of him off.
Yeah, it's not a problem to he's frozen, so you
Yeah.
just move him in there and he's left the walkie-talkie in there so he
Yeah.
can make his threats and
Yeah.
Waxman's not very. And also, look, if Waxman had said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry,"
Mhm.
maybe this would have a different resolution. He doesn't. I mean, he does give Mark the information he wants.
He does, yeah.
But he's also like, I'm gonna wait you out. You're gonna slip up. He's a little bit,
It's reminiscent.
No one deserves being covered in concrete.
But
however,
yeah,
this is a comic,
that's
and
true.
he kind of gets what he,
Well-
it's not. I'm not gonna lose any sleep over Waxman.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
I mean, it sounds very similar to Man Mountain Marco in the fact that, he beats him, all ends up, but then he still starts jabbering at him, look, I'm gonna get you still. And so Moon Knight goes, okay, well, if you're gonna be a dick about it, then I'm gonna get you even worse. And he does the same here. And I don't what did you think of that? I mean, I was a little bit surprised at Moon Knight going that extra step further and just still pour the concrete in.
I was like, I wasn't surprised because like his team were. I wasn't surprised because I thought that he's now gearing up to go after Zodiac. It's almost like pumping himself up with the adrenaline.
Yeah.
Like, I've got to be this guy in
Yes.
order to get in order to actually win over Zodiac.
Yeah.
I've got to go back to that. I will pour concrete on someone. And like Waxman was awful to him, and he does have a relationship with Sterman. It's not out of the blue. I just grabbed someone off the streets.
No,
that
no,
was,
absolutely
robbing
not.
someone.
No.
This is like someone who's damaged part of his family.
Yep.
And I think given that what's happened to, we don't know, but given that he's lost his other support network, he's not willing to give the rest of them up, and that's kind of why he reacted to positively to Winner, is because he gets that, like, when you've got support, it's very important. So I mean, I was a little surprised, but I wasn't like, oh, I was just like, oh no, he's revving up, he's getting ready to take on Zodiac. And then I was so like, I didn't immediately twig that Reese wasn't there.
Yeah. I didn't understand what he
I
said
just thought
towards the
she
end there.
wasn't in the frame.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just
me
thought,
too. Me too.
yeah. And then I was so happy when he came and said that, like, that it was very, intentional Reese wasn't there because he knew he was going to do it, which is kind of plays into my he's psyching himself up to go
Yeah,
take on
and
Zodiac because it's
he's
going to be like the fight of his life, you know.
yeah, and he's
And
protecting.
he's had a few of them, but you know, it's going to be a fight of his life.
Yeah, and he's protecting Reese in that
Yeah.
sense as well. I'm just sorry, I'm just flicking through here as well. One of the points talking about the action and all that. I love the involvement of Mission. You know, the
Mm.
house. So it's like almost like a
Yeah, me too.
yeah, it's like a new tool in the kit that Moon Knight has, and
And they're already working well together, which I
yeah,
like.
yeah, I think it's fantastic, and I
Yeah.
just love this idea that he's got this spooky house. You know,
Yeah, it's just so good.
it's not quite the Sanctum Sanctorum, but it still will
No, but
leave
you
you messed
know,
up. Yeah, yeah,
it will probably they'd probably have a good fight.
yeah, 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 exactly. So, I mean, that was good, but yeah, absolutely. Reese was it was good to have her kind of off it, and it's almost akin to like Moon Knight, like slapping himself in the face, just kind of pumping himself up, I guess,
Yeah.
and the fact that
And he's also right, Waxman was a serial killer.
yeah, that's
Like,
true.
he had
That's true.
just admitted to killing all those women, so
Yes, and I guess it's once he deems them irredeemable,
yeah.
similar to Zodiac, then he really shows no mercy. I mean, because he was talking that sort of talk to Hunter's Moon as well. Wasn't that
Mhm.
long ago when he's saying, "I'm going to cut you up like Osiris's," you know.
Mm,
So he was really threatening him, like, "Don't come near my congregation."
yeah.
But he's had obviously second thoughts about Hunter's Moon. He can see the nobility, I guess, in him, whereas with Waxman and Zodiac and Hawley, there's just no nobility in them at all. So he does what he does, an avatar of vengeance, I guess. So um,
Yeah, I mean, you
yeah.
know, it's time to start earning your keep as an Avatar of Vengeance.
Yes. Oh,
I'm kidding. I love this run so
it
much.
is very good, I've got to say, and I mean that in the best possible way about this being a familiarity. Like as we said, you know, I've been distracted. We've been distracted with the TV show, and to come back to this, it's kind of like I've locked into Jed's style of writing again. It's like, oh, this is
Yeah,
cool.
and it's such a nice one to come back to because
Mm,
it's the nice thing is it's so different from the TV show.
yeah,
And we remember the story so well, and like so it's quite easy to sort of, you know, go back into. And I like
mm,
some of the unpredictability going back to that and not being sure
yeah,
where Mark's gonna do, what's he gonna do.
yep. And again, also Jed, the king of, I think Chad mentioned the king of the deep cuts. um,
Yeah, yeah.
Waxman again. We get the house, of course, mission, and all these other references that he's done. Uh,
I mean, it's like I can't wait to see what happens now. I like,
yeah.
you know, like when he's been plotting issue 13 onwards, I want to know
Oh,
what process that goes into for like where's the deep cuts come. But he
yeah.
just seems to know a lot of it, which is really nice.
Hmm.
It's not so much like there's some research and some like characters he remembers and things
Yeah.
like that. I really like it. It's like it makes it feel personal as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't wait. I mean, hopefully, as well, listeners will have Jed back after issue 12. So after the you know, the two arcs, or you know, the big 12 issue arc has kind of finished. It'll be great to chat with Jed and go through these issues again, and maybe get an insight
Yeah.
as to what's happening up ahead.
And what's happening next? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if there's no other points, Rebecca, or you,
No, I think
yeah,
pretty done.
okay. Well, with our moon rating system, what would you give this Moon Knight issue 10 session?
I gave it an 8.5 because I really enjoyed it.
8.5, that is heading towards a full moon. Uh,
Yeah.
so that's a very impressive score. I gave it a big 8, a big, beautiful yellow man. I thought it was real. You know, part of me as well, Rebecca, is restraining myself with the marking because at the moment, I'm just
I
loving
feel a little
TV
bit like
shows.
I'm restraining myself because
Yeah.
I'm expecting the finale to be so strong
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah.
I'm giving myself a little bit of leeway.
It's just I've been so impressed with the TV show, the comics. It's just like where I don't want to just like hit the ceiling straight away. So this was a very good issue. I really did enjoy it. So yeah, 8. I'll try to restrain myself and say 8. Um, oh, interesting here. I think we got the loony that is going to the gym. Says I'm enjoying the new series. They haven't read issue
I can look
10
them
yet.
up there. If I go into Facebook, I can see
Okay.
who it is.
But not loving the interiors that much. I mean, that's fair enough. It is down to taste. I mean, that's
Yeah. I mean, art is
we all
always good. Like,
exactly. We
when we
can't all.
first saw it, we were like, Wayne Hunt is
Oh,
who
Wayne.
said that. It's not
Oh,
Jim. Hey, Wayne.
hey,
Shall I
Wayne.
say hello to everyone who's let me go back and see who
Okay,
everyone
let's
is.
see who.
Oh, it's only showing me. Oh, they scroll out.
Oh,
So,
okay.
sorry to anyone that I can't. Everyone say hi quickly, and then I'll see who you are.
But yeah, I mean,
Try and keep it open.
as Rebecca keeps a close watch on that, I mean, it's yeah, definitely worth checking out if you haven't read this issue. I mean, we've spoiled it majorly for you, but but still go seek it out if you can. Definitely worthy if for your collection as well.
Hello, I'm Alan,
I'm Rebecca.
and if you're listening to this, then we recommend that you check out our podcast, the DCAU Podcast, where we watch the original DC animated movies, starting from Batman Mask of the Phantasm and continuing on to Justice League Dark, Apocalypse War, and beyond. And we will cover such heroes as Batman,
Superman,
the Batman,
Wonder Woman,
Victorian Steampunk Batman,
The Flash,
Batman Beyond,
Green Lantern,
Old Man Batman,
Martian Manhunter.
and plenty more versions of Batman.
Lots and lots and lots of Batman.
You can find the DCAU podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else that you can get podcasts by looking up the DCAU podcast and subscribe today.
Tell me his name again.
Thanos.
I think I shall call him Adam.
But return to me again empty-handed, and I will bathe the stowaways in your blood.
Thanks, Dad. Sounds fair.
Korvac's power grows, as does his madness. He would have destroyed us all, had I not pulled us into the Soul Gem.
Then Thanos, I'm coming for you.
After Xandar, you were going to kill my father?
You dare to oppose me?
You see what he has turned me into. You kill him, I will help you destroy 1,000 planets.
It's all right, Adam. We're here to help. Just stay cool. I don't want to be here! Resurrections, an Adam Warlock and Thanos podcast. 5 years and going strong. Every other week. Mostly. For all of your Adam Warlock, Thanos, or Marvel Cosmic needs. Find it on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, and wherever else podcasts are available. ResurrectionsAdamWarlock.tumblr.com.
Adam Warlock. You cannot keep leaving your philosophy books open on the floor. I always trip on them in the middle of the night on my way to the can.
See this episode's show notes for our unique promo code to get up to 2 months of free podcasting service with Libsyn when you sign up for a new account. Get your show on Apple and Spotify, get helpful stats, and all the support you need to sound your very best.
All right, Rebecca, I think it's probably time for some night lines. I don't have a little animation for it, but
Sitting here waiting for one.
So we got only a few bits here and there. I think Rebecca, I think a lot of loonies are busy with the TV show and such.
Yeah.
So, but we do still have some feedback. So thank you so much, loonies, for sending it in. We'll start off with some voicemails so we can give ourselves a bit of a break on the vocals. And we've got the first one up from Noel. So let's see what Noel, host of Trapped in a World, the Howard the Duck podcast, and great friend of the show. So let's hear what Noel had to say.
Hey, Ray and Rebecca. This is Noel Tate sending in my review for Moon Knight number 10 by Jed MacKay and the like. I really thought that this was a fantastic issue. It kind of threw me for a loop, which was kind of a nice surprise. I thought it was going to be kind of a standard fight between Winner and Moon Knight, and I really liked the fight we did have in the haunted house with the Escher-ness of the whole thing taking over and messing with Winner. I thought it was pretty neat. And the conversation Mark was having, in sort of flashback form with the doctor, who turns out to be this Waxman character who I had never heard of before. Didn't even do any research quite yet. Just finished reading to see if this was an existing Marvel character. I'm assuming it is. That being said, the comic reads a little bit like some of the better Batman comics. Just because, the Waxman is like a different villain that we've seen initially, kind of looks like him. But the fight between Moon Knight is clever, freezing him and then leaving him to die. Wow. And it seems like his team is on board with it. Wow, again. That's kind of crazy. But overall, this is really a fantastic issue. I really enjoyed it. The artwork is on par. The coloring is beyond par. It's fantastic. There's parts that almost hurt my eyes because of the glow around Moon Knight when I'm reading it on this kind of glossy paper, but it's a really cool effect. So I'm keeping this short and sweet. I would give this like an 8, which is on my scale a little yellow duck. And I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I do. See ya.
Thank you so much, Noel.
I want the Trapped in a World like duck ratings, because they seem very close to each other, whatever, which I very much approve of. Like it seems, but no, I think Noel makes some great points there.
Yeah, thank you so much, Noel, as well. And yeah, at first I didn't realize that Moon Knight's congregation were behind. I mean, I think Soldier looked surprised at first, didn't he? Like when Moon Knight pours that concrete, but then they must.
Yeah, they certainly look more surprised than I felt. So
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
but they've not really seen. They've only seen him be a little bit restrained. Like
Right.
they've seen him threaten.
What
I
is?
mean, I guess except for like right at the beginning.
What are you saying, Rebecca?
But you know,
You've seen a lot of people buried in concrete. It's nothing new.
no, I'm saying, well, what can I say? No, I mean, I'm reading a comic. They're actually there.
Yeah, that's true. Well, so thank you so much, Noel. Very similar, well, identical score to myself. So we're akin with that. And now we also have, and he's been in the comment section as we've been live streaming. I'm just looking. Sorry, look, we've got some other Facebook users. I think that's you again, Wayne. Hello, Wayne. Big shout out to Wayne, courtside. But we have another one here from Russell, and let's see what Russell has to say about this.
Hello, High Priest of Khonshu. This is Russell from Tomes of Evil, and I'm here to give my thoughts on Moon Knight number 10. This was a fantastic issue once again from Jed MacKay and Cappuccio. And I just have to say that I'm glad I was at least half right about Dr. Sterman. I had told Ray about this in a conversation, and I don't remember if I posted it in the Discord or not, but I had said that I didn't think Dr. Sterman was Dr. Sterman. My theory was that maybe she had been replaced by Death Reaper. They both had the black hair. They could very easily be disguised as one another, but Moon Knight, it might take him a few attempts to get to the bottom of a riddle, but he's no idiot. So it makes more sense that it was someone who could actually take the form of Dr. Sterman. I'd never heard of Waxman, but I'm sure Rebecca is going to have a field day with this one because it's yet another villain used in this run that has a parallel to a Batman villain. Because this is, this is basically just Clayface. uh, which I'll have to look more into Waxman. I don't know if he's new. I doubt he is because it seems like he has a history. Anyway, once again, I love the art. We get two really cool sequences in this. Obviously, Moon Knight battling Rutherford Winner, which I'm very happy that a lot of you were correct in predicting that Winner was going to be a new ally for Mark. That was cool. And I love how they used the house to kind of Mark would just call on the midnight mission to change and it would throw Rutherford around, and that was pretty cool. Yeah, and the big reveal that it was Waxman, of course, took me by surprise. I thought that Dr. Sterman had been replaced, just didn't figure it was by an actual, monster man. Yeah, and of course, tying it into that background kind of storyline we've seen through the last few issues with the suffocated women. My theory about this is Waxman says Zodiac's not going to be happy that his plan is coming undone. I think this is exactly what Zodiac wanted. Because at the end of this, Mark, he kind of goes over the deep end. He kills Waxman, or, as much as you can kill something. He says he's going to make him scream forever, which is even worse than killing him, I guess. And that's kind of what I've thought Zodiac has been wanting this whole time. He's been wanting Mark to go back over the edge. In our terms, I would say Zodiac wants him to go back to Houston era Moon Knight. The sadistic kind of, cutting the face off trope type thing. But I think that's what Zodiac wants. Zodiac wants him to be more violent, more bloodthirsty, just because that's fun for Zodiac. That's the game. Anyway, this continues to be a very compelling series, and I'm so happy with it so far. I would venture to say this is one of my favorite Moon Knight runs of all time. I love Volume 1. I love the Houston. Actually, I prefer the wow, I'm blanking here. Come on now. The person that took over for Houston.
Mike Benson.
That started with the God and
Come on,
Country.
Russell.
Come on now.
Come on, Russell.
You can get it. Come on.
This.
We have faith.
Benson.
Benson. That's
Yeah,
it. God, I need to turn in my Moon Knight fan card immediately. Yeah, Benson. And I also really fond of Vengeance of the Moon Knight. But this one's right up there. I love it. And as for a score, I'm going to give this one a 9. 9 out of
Awesome.
10. So
Yeah.
thank you guys, and be sure to check me out on Tomes of Evil and Gamma Charge, the strongest podcast there is. Thank you.
Cool.
Cool.
Glad
you got that, Russell.
But Russell makes a really good point, actually. And
that this is what Zodiac wanted.
Yeah, I think
to get him back to the violence.
He's playing into his hands because he did say many times to.
I mean, potentially, but he knows that's what Zodiac. There's a little bit of double bluff potential there.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, I guess we'll have to see.
But he definitely is more violent than we've seen him.
Yeah. I mean, I tend to look. I'm not a violent person, but I tend to someone as grubby as Zodiac, I think Moon Knight's going to have to just play as dirty as he can as well, because as Jed has always said, there's nothing redeemable about this fella Zodiac. So he's an absolute mongrel. So so I guess we'll have to see. Got another thing here. Just I believe it might be Wayne.
This is from Wayne.
Wayne, yes.
Wayne, yeah.
I've been surprised how much I've been enjoying the storyline of the new series. So many times Marvel pump out a subpar series because of an upcoming TV show. Yes, I know Wayne is very discerning when it comes to series in Marvel. I know Wayne, a big Moon Knight fan, but he does love the off-kilt sort of storytelling. That's why he loves the Lemire run so much. I've had nice conversations with Wayne, about the subsequent series and past ones as well. So thank you so much, Wayne, for that. We haven't finished with our feedback as well. We've just got a couple, Rebecca, from the Facebook group. If you want to grab them.
Let me just find it. Yep, I got it. Oh, you want me to start?
Yeah.
Such a swine.
And,
okay.
Sorry, Rebecca, and you're not shallow, Wayne. Don't be silly. You're not.
Oh, I thought he was still calling me shallow.
No. He
Totally
he
fair.
likes good stories. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what we should want.
Exactly.
Like, we should want good stories from our comics, not
yeah.
subpar ones that
Yeah,
have just been rushed out.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the things I like, is that this came out so the trade would be ready for the first episode. So we already had some, establishment, but also clearly this wasn't supposed to align with the TV show. There's no particular synchronicity except in the title, and that this is a good I think it's a good starter series because he starts so much adrift from his any other, like all you need to know is that this thing called Age of Conchu's happened and nobody else is with him, and he's kind of starting off fresh. Anyway,
sorry, Rebecca, just before you start, I'm going to put you in a little bit of a spot again, as I always awkwardly do. But say if you are an MCU fan and you've been watching the TV show, you're loving it and stuff, not necessarily a comic book fan, how do you think that would respond to this Moon Knight series? I mean, it is vastly different. Ozzy seems to have plenty to say.
Ozzy has a lot to say.
I mean,
sorry, the question was, if you're an MCU person, how are you finding the series? How are you finding the comics?
Yeah, would you be absolutely boggled at what's happening in this comic, or would you be enjoying it?
It depends. I think it's enjoyable in and of itself, so I don't see why you wouldn't. And I mean, as long as you go in knowing that it's likely to be a bit different. I mean, if you're an MCU person who's gone to any of the comics, you're likely to see differences. Possibly the least of which would be if you went to read the Fraction Hawkeye run after the TV show.
Oh yeah.
But like, if you're a fan of any of the characters and you're a fan of Tony Stark, you go to Iron Man, you're not gonna find that it's the same. This is potentially a bigger difference, I guess, but we don't know where the TV show is going to go by the end of 6 episodes. So I think this is definitely one I'd recommend for a new person.
Me too.
I haven't tried it on anyone yet because I tried some with the Lemire series because I wanted one that came to an end, and that wouldn't feel like, and that would all be on Marvel Unlimited and stuff like that, so they wouldn't have to go buy comics. But I think I think this is a really good start because the characterization's there, the basics are there. It's just focusing on different things. So and I always love it when superheroes sort of do the whole found family thing. And, often when they're established, you don't get to see them do that because they've already got an established cast of characters. Whereas this feels very new and fresh because we don't know what's coming in terms of characters that will either join him or be antagonists. So I really appreciate that about it. So.
Yeah, no, I think off the strength of the writing, it's just definitely worth a recommend for anyone who maybe hasn't even picked up a comic book much in their in their life.
I'm just laughing at
So Russell's dropped in. I had a coworker just ask me if I was enjoying Moon Rider on Disney Plus. Well, you can just
I mean, hey, go for it. Why not? You know, there's always going to be people who aren't keeping up with what these things are
Exactly,
called. You know.
exactly. Just I would snub that comment anyway.
Okay, so back to feedback. So this is from the Facebook group. I'm going to try and get it right this time, and apologies if I don't. But there was a reason Ray ducked out of this one. So Facebook comment by Mario Di Giacomo. I may have got the emphasis wrong. I apologize, but I'm trying. Okay. Anyway, feedback. Jed, you magnificent bastard. I picked up a hint something was amiss when Mark didn't say how the fight ended. When Winner started talking about wanting his doctor back, it became clearer. But perhaps the first sign should have been Mark showing up to therapy prepared for battle. Sterman should have been wary of that, but was too focused on trying to steer Moon Knight astray. Tying it to the strangled women mentioned in issue 8 was a nice touch. Best issue of the week, easily a full moon from me. My fellow loonies may be amused to know that Waxman here has only appeared 5 times prior. First as a Spider-Woman villain, later in Superior Spider-Man Octopus as a member of, but eventually quitting. That's where I heard he quit. The latest incarnation of the Night Shift, and then a link to the wiki for Waxman, so you can all go learn the very few facts there are about him. Thank you, Mario.
Thank you, Mario, as well, and we'll put that in the show notes for ease of access as well. Yep, a handful. Look, if you want to become a Waxman fan, easily obtainable. I know Russell mentioned that he wants to get all the appearances of Waxman. I don't think we'll take that long.
I was going to say Russell must be doing a special.
Oh, and Mario's come in. Yep, good enough.
I know. That's why I said thank you so much.
Thank you, Mario.
I put your thank you for the pronunciation guide as well. They're always appreciated.
Yes.
Anyone is welcome to correct us on that. You know.
No, always very much appreciate your comments. Thank you so much. And agree with all of them as well. I just love it. It's such a small touch, but I love the fact that he came up to the therapy session in his Moon Knight costume, and there being an actual logic behind it that we discover later. I think that sort of stuff, just brilliant writing. Anyway, and we have another comment here from Lena, part of the DID system as well. Yes, Aussie. Lena says, I really like this one. I thought it was odd at first that Dr. Sterman was immediately saying that Winner was a lost cause. Yep, exactly. Red flag. That's not the type of thing that most therapists admit to easily. And also, a real therapist would probably say something along the lines of, I can't discuss my other clients with you. Yes, red flags. But then it all made sense with the big reveal. I just didn't quite get how Moon Knight figured out that it was Waxman specifically, when there are several other more high-profile shape-shifting villains in the Marvel 616 universe. Chameleon, Mystique. I'm looking forward to the rematch with Zodiac. Thank you so much, Lena. That is a very valid question. I mean, Waxman is a drop in the ocean of the characters.
Maybe he got with his old cell buddy 8-Ball and got some more information about him.
True. Yes.
There does seem to be a missing step there in how did you know it was Waxman?
Yeah,
but
that's by the by, and I'm sure you can come up with something, as you said, like Rebecca already immediately. Maybe conversations with 8-Ball, maybe during his stint in jail, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, who knows? That would make the stint in jail actually make some sense. I mean, not that it didn't make sense. God, that makes it sound like I'm so anti it. But like we were all talking about, like, will it have any impact on the main storyline?
Yes. Oh, and Mario, either that or Shroud sent him a DM. Absolutely. When the Shroud's off in Barbados or something, when he's on holiday again, trying to coax Moon Knight back into the night shift, I'm sure. Yes, thank you, Russell. Yes, Jed MacKay will be on the Tomes of Evil as well. Go check it out. They'll be talking about Man, Mountain, Marco, but as Russell says, they'll ask him about Cactus and Waxman Cactus. I can't believe you've come up with these infatuations for these characters, Russell. They're at the same time lovely, but they're so fun. I mean, it's Cactus, for those that don't know, from the Wackos, from WCA as well, West Coast Avengers, and Waxman, but funny, cool villains as well. Just a final one, Rebecca from Instagram. I'm assuming first time person, Looney that sent this in, J. Abram E. Christ. And yo, I'm going to do this in my American accent.
You do this. I'll sound worse than Oscar Isaac doing British.
It'd be, yo, Zodiac about to get a jumped on Khonshu, bruh. I don't know what the hell that means.
Wagga.
Waka waka waka. Fuzzy bear.
Faye.
No,
So he's looking forward to the Zodiac fight.
Yes.
I think we can.
yes.
I mean,
Thank you, J. Bronny Christ. No. I jest. No, really appreciate it. Just that I'm not.
no, I definitely.
Not up.
We love all these.
Yes, with the lingo. But thank you very much. Thank you everyone for dropping in some thoughts, and
Yes.
hope
and
you.
Thanks for everyone for joining us. This is awesome.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. It just feels like a really fun little chat group, and it's great. Thank you so much. It's so early for the Americans, so
Yeah,
can't
it's
thank
so
you.
nice to get back to the comics, though.
Oh, it
and
is,
you know,
isn't it?
I'm loving the show, but there's something comforting about the comics.
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely. As for spectacles, Loonies, please check out our coverage of the TV show. So Rebecca and I generally do a reaction episode immediately after the drop of the episode on the Wednesday, and that's followed then over the weekend by a panel discussion. We open it up to Loonies, and we look at the Looney feedback as well from our groups. So really get a good canvas of differing opinions.
Get some great comments come up from it. The first one was fantastic.
Yeah, so keep your eye out for that. Also, this month, a new month as well. Hopefully by mid to late-ish April, I'll drop another bonus episode for the Patreon members. So please consider becoming a Patreon member, and you too can be privy to some bonus material. I'll be chatting with Justin and Noel. I can't remember what we did because we did it a while ago. So keep your ears peeled out for that. Patronies. A big shout out to Looney Olivia. I want to say a big shout out.
So she was in the chat room at the beginning. She was one of our unnamed people.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
hey, Olivia.
yeah. So
awesome.
yeah.
Olivia's.
Sorry, I missed seeing it properly.
Oh yeah, apologies for not calling that up sooner as well, Olivia. But she's been great in the group. Olivia is Egyptian as well, and she was talking about. I mean, recently she talked about the Egyptian rap music in the show, which is pretty cool. But she was, I guess, entertaining the idea of contributing more about Egyptian mythology and culture. And
that'd be amazing. I would love it.
Yeah. So I would love. I'm saying it now, Olivia. If you're listening still, we'll do something similar to Understanding DID. I'd love to do something like Understanding Egyptian culture and mythology. Let's make it happen. I think that's an awesome idea.
If we ever need to do an Understanding Judaism, you kind of have me.
Yeah. I mean, Rebecca, absolutely. Let's do it.
Understanding Mercs. I mean, there must be a Merc who listens to
Understanding a gift shop owner, a gift shop pists.
The British Museum. Yeah.
Any retailer.
Actually, Olivia's also posted on the Facebook group since then with her Egyptian review, her review of Moon Knight episodes 1 and 2 from an Egyptian standpoint.
Fantastic. Awesome. So go
from the standpoint of someone who is Egyptian. I don't want to make it sound like that's how I need to phrase it. Yeah.
No, that's fantastic. I'm going to check it out after we finish, Rebecca.
I was just reading it just before we started, and it's really good.
Ozzy is really starved of the limelight. I think. Anyone that can see the video right now, Rebecca had a fringe, a different looking fringe there for a second.
I had a full on moustache for a while.
Moustache as well.
I had a Jake Lockley moustache. So.
And just finally for Spectacle as well, a little bit of self-indulgence here, Rebecca. I just want to announce that the Legacy, the complete collection of the Max Bemis run has been released as well. So you can see Rebecca, myself, and Conishu in there. We're in the trade.
Yeah, still one of the greatest moments of and surprises of my life.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So got eternal gratitude towards Max Bemis for that. But yeah, anyway, Loonies, that pretty much wraps us for this episode. Next phase, as mentioned, episode 277. We'll do a Moon and Stars again. Summon the Suit panel. So I'll be joined with Joey, the Mega Man, Agliata, and Ian Adama. Most of you, some of you will know he's a director as well, a filmmaker. So that will be interesting. Hoping we get Daniel doing on as well. We'll have to see, but it should be interesting. It's always fun to hear their thoughts and also your thoughts on episode 2, Summon the Suit.
Yeah.
Then
next week we have Episode 3 and our first Black, White and Blood.
Oh my gosh, of course. How cool is that? Loonies, we are definitely in the golden age of Moon Knight. Yeah.
When Ray starts to look really tired, you
Yeah.
know.
No, just stick
If
to
the
Rebecca. She
smile
knows
ever
it
leaves
all.
his face, if his
Oh,
smile ever leaves his face,
I
you know
just-
that it's been too much for him.
I'm just living in the moment, Rebecca, because once this is all gone, I mean, it'd
I
still
know,
be
we have
great.
6 weeks
We'll
of
be
this,
back.
you know,
Yeah,
like
this is 6 weeks of heaven. So, I'm loving it. Also, a big thank you once again to our patroonies, Daniel, Drew, Justin, Derek, Kyle, Wayne, Jordan, Josh, James, Anthony, Russell, Michael, Mario, Gavin, Matthew, and Frank the Tank, or Frank the Think Tank. He's on there too. Please consider becoming a Patreon member, patreon.com/ITK Moon Knight. Big thanks to our sponsors, CLZ Comics, Collectors.com, and also Fringe Night by Daniel Doing. Support him at patreon.com/Fringe Night 27. With Drew Toombs, you heard him last episode, fantastic guy. His music, Toombs on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Toombs with a Z, and Lurk Music on Bandcamp, lurkmusic with a CK.bandcamp.com. And finally, Dreamland Comics, get all your back issues, use the code MOON, and you'll get 20% off all the back issues of all those issues of Waxman that you've ever wanted, all those 5 issues. So go check them out. Hopefully they'll have them there. And finally, we are part of the Collective, a great bunch of podcasts as well. Rebecca doing fine work over at the DCAU, DC Animated Universe podcast, as well as Sons of the Dragon and Immortal Iron Fist podcast. And
you have what, Spider-Woman
and Last
the Spider-Woman.
Oh, and Last Sons of
Last Sons of
Krypton.
Krypton.
Yes, my little foray into DC, Rebecca.
Hey, it's worth it. It's worth it for Superman, right?
Yeah,
you only move over for the best.
Look, Rebecca, I like Superman. It's good. But I love chatting to Connor. So that's
Yeah,
my
I understand that.
My big perk. And also, you can email us feedback at itkmoonnight.com. You can catch us live streaming when we do new comic books and when we do other stuff that's new. We've got a website, itkmoonnight.com, as well as we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Discord, Get Vocal, and Podchaser. Sorry. And finally, yeah, if you want to give us a review, please do. Would absolutely love it. It will help us get out there. I am absolutely flummoxed at I don't know, the exposure at the moment. Thank you so much, TV show.
Yeah.
It's been fantastic.
It's been good all around.
Yeah. So Rebecca, a big thank you to you too as well. Thank you for backing up
Thank you.
2 episodes in a row. Sick of Ray yet? I don't know.
Never.
I'm never sick of you, so I could do another one tomorrow if you want. But
yeah, let's do Hercules tomorrow.
With that, loonies, mate, Kochi, watch over the denizens of the night. Catch you later.
Take care. Bye.
Moon Knight and affiliated characters, stories and events are properties of Marvel Characters Incorporated. Materials used and discussed within the podcast are intended for critique and review purposes only under the fair dealing concept of the current Copyright Act. The views, information or opinions expressed during the podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of the copyright owners.